I am Dr. Alice Reed. I am internal medicine, and I'm traditional internal medicine. Have been out at the beach now 21 years. And I have always had an interest in wellness. So naturally, I have lots of patients who bring me information, bring me ideas, and I go to the anti-aging conferences. But about 2 years ago, one of my patients, a retired anesthesiologist, Dr. Sharon Phillips, she came to me with Protandim. And she said, oh, you got to read about this. You got to get on this. This is something big. She was excited. And so I said, well, let me see it. And I look at it, and I look at the ingredients, and I say, well, I take most of that, and they're good herbs. That's a real good product. That's great. And then I found out it was network marketing. So, of course, I said, oh, I'm not doing that stuff. Don't get me involved in that. And fortunately, she kind of stayed on me. She stayed on me, and every time I saw her, she told me about Protandim. And then Gabe Pearson, who is the fellow who brought Protandim to Jacksonville for us, he brought Joe McCord, we just saw in the video, to University of North Florida, UNF. And so it was October about 2010, and she came in the office, said, you've got to go to UNF, you've got to go see Joe McCord, Dr. Joe McCord speak about this product. And I said, oh, okay. Well, it's Tuesday night. I'm whiny. It's school night, as I call it. And I call my husband, Bill, and I say, we got to go to UNF tonight. We got to hear this guy talk about this product, his network marketing. I'm extremely negative. But we go. We get in the car and we go. And I get there, and we're sitting in our little seats, and out walks Joe McCord. And as he is on the video, he's got a presence. And he just starts talking about oxidative stress and his research and Protandim. And I'm on fire. I am just so excited. Have just returned from the anti-aging conference in Orlando, the A4M. Big thousands of people, big stuff, and they talk about genetics and changing your genes and putting your stem cells in the deep freeze and all this kind of outside the box conversation. And a lot of it was genetics and having your genes do the work. So after I'm listening to this, I said, wow, this is just amazing, divine intervention. So we call Sharon immediately, we go home, and we start taking the product. And we took the product for about 3 months, and I noticed that I had more energy, and my menopause fog was gone. I was sleeping again, and I was like, wow, I really feel better. My husband's blood pressure was down. He's now on a fourth of his dose. His blood sugars were down. His blood sugars weren't high, but they were a little above 100, 115, and now they're in the 80s. And his creatinine, actually, which was about 1.2, is down to 0.8. So I was pretty impressed with all this, and I said, wow, this is a great product. Fortunately, we had the good sense to start also doing the business, and I basically leave that up to my husband. He does a great job with the business. So I have forever thankful to both Gabe Pearson and Sharon Phillips for bringing this to me. But a very, very good product. So what I want to start with is the oxidative stress. Now, we used to call that in the 70s free radical damage. Everybody talked about free radicals. Our body makes 13 sextillion free radicals a day. That's 13 with 26 zeros after it. So free radical damage is everywhere, and we've always talked about that, and we combat that with antioxidants. Now, what we didn't know, and what Joe McCord discovered, is that we have a set of genes that makes antioxidants. Those are the survival genes. They make antioxidants, antifibrotics, and anti-inflammatories. So when we are young, we have a set of genes that is working for us, combating 1 million free radicals per second for us, and thus neutralizing the free radical damage. Because what happens is when your free radical damage is high and your antioxidants are low, that difference is called oxidative stress. And that's now the buzzword. As opposed to free radical damage, we use the term oxidative stress. And as he mentioned in the video, oxidative stress is linked to hundreds of diseases, probably almost all diseases, and it is the cause of gene mutations, inflammation, etc. So the goal is to decrease oxidative stress by neutralizing your free radicals with the antioxidants. So as I said, when we were young, we had a set of genes that poured out antioxidants, combating 1 million free radicals per second, really giving us a chance on that 13 sextillion number. But somewhere along the way, in our 20s, that process kind of peters out. So Joe McCord, as he spent the last 40 years in the lab trying to figure out how to wake up that process. And in the 90s, they discovered that inside your cell, there's a messenger called a NRF2 messenger, a messenger that speaks to your DNA and actually is the one that did that work. Would go to your DNA and tell your DNA to kick out all those great great genes, of survival genes, the antioxidant products, and also kind of calm down the bad genes. And that's why when we're young, we don't age. We grow and grow and we're healthy. So what has happened is everyone has been trying to discover how to wake up this NRF2 pathway and do that. Well, that is Protandim. So people go, well, what is Protandim? This is too good to be true. I can't believe this video. Protandim is a NRF2 activator. It is not an antioxidant. It is a natural product that tells your DNA to make your God-given antioxidants at the tune of 1 million per second. So that is what Protandim is. And this is not something that Protandim made up. The NRF2 messenger was discovered in the 90s, and there are other pharmaceutical people trying to figure out how to wake up this NRF2 pathway, and Protandim has done it. Protandim is 5 nutraceuticals. It's turmeric, which has been around for centuries, anti-inflammatory, anti-cancer properties. Green tea, also been around for many, many years. Milk thistle, fabulous for cleansing the liver. 2 herbs, ashwagandha and bacopa, and those are very good herbs for adrenal stress and mental clarity. So those are the 5 nutrients in Protandim. They're very low doses. They're synergistically combined. So as I was saying to Sharon, Dr. Phillips, I was saying, oh, I take all those individually. That isn't how it works. It's the synergy of the way he's put it together in the nutraceutical product. And that is what Protandim is. Now, people will say, well, that's just too good to be true. I don't believe this. This is crazy. We send them to pubmed.gov. PubMed, publicmedical.gov, government, pubmed.gov is the NIH website. The NIH is the National Institute of Health. That's where all our research and data is. If you were to actually go to pubmed.gov and put in oxidative stress, you're going to get close to over 100,000 articles on oxidative stress and disease. So we send people to pubmed.gov and put in the search box Protandim. Protandim has 11 peer-reviewed studies. 11 peer-reviewed studies. Peer-reviewed studies, P-E-E-R, peer review, those are studies done by, obviously, your peers. They're peers to Dr. Joe McCord, other PhDs, other MDs who are doing research, and he sends his data to these individuals. They're not even together. They're in individual places, and they all review his data. And all of the individuals involved have to agree with the results for it to be peer-reviewed and to be published. So Protandim has 11 peer reviews. If you go to pubmed.gov and put in Protandim, you're going to start with the most recent and go backwards. So I'm going to call the first peer review actually the most distant peer review. And that peer review, the first 3 peer reviews that were ever written on Protandim, describe exactly and prove exactly what I just told you all. The first peer review proves that Protandim in 30 days decreases oxidative stress 40% in 100% of mammals. They measure oxidative stress by T-bars. T-bars is a peroxidase measurement. We know that high T-bars has always been linked to cardiovascular disease. So Protandim in 30 days was proven by measuring T-bars to decrease oxidative stress 40% in 100% of mammals, 100% of the time. It also showed in that first peer review that within 120 days, which is 3 months, which is usually about the time people really start to notice a difference, that the SOD, superoxide dismutase, and catalase, 2 of the biggest antioxidants we have that our DNA makes through Protandim, that is upregulated at 30 and 40%. So this is all proven in the first peer review study. The second peer review proves that it is the synergy of the 5 products. It is the way he put them together, the strength and the amount that he used, the synergy of the product that makes Protandim a NRF2 activator. They tagged the NRF2 pathway and saw that Protandim lit up that pathway, and it was proven to be a NRF2 activator. So when I was saying, oh, I take all that, that is not going to do it. It's got to be in the perfect synergy, and there are patents for that. So we have 4 patents on that synergy of those 5 products. The third peer review is a great one. It proves that Protandim increases glutathione 300%. Now, glutathione is probably one of the biggest antioxidants. Glutathione is huge, or I should say the absence of glutathione is huge in movement disorders, Parkinson's, any learning disabilities, autism. So glutathione is huge. People are trying to get glutathione all the time. When you go to these anti-aging conferences and you go into the expo, there are several people trying to sell you glutathione. Glutathione is a very big molecule. It's very hard to absorb. So people try to get it through IV injections or nebulizers, but glutathione is huge. And Protandim stabilizes the enzyme that converts to glutathione and thus upregulates glutathione 300%. And that is proven in the peer review, the third peer review. The other peer reviews are studies done with both rats and mice. There are studies with rats and pulmonary hypertension. There are studies with mice and muscular dystrophy. There is a study with mice and skin cancer, the fourth peer review. They took the mice and they divided them in two groups. And in one group, they divided that into two groups. In one group of them, they gave just normal mice feed. The other group, they gave Protandim, and those mice did fine. Over here, they divided up the group, normal mice feed, Protandim, and they painted these mice with toxic carcinogenic product. The group of mice in the normal feed got covered with multiple skin tumors, 100% of the mice. The group of mice with the Protandim feed got covered, only 60% were covered with tumors, and it was markedly less number of tumors. That's pretty impressive that 33% of the mice did not get affected at all by the carcinogenic product. And LSU is continuing to do a lot of skin cancer studies, so I think that the skin information is going to come out to be very impressive. One of the other peer reviews that I really find fascinating is we know that when you take a vein out of someone's leg for a bypass, you're taking a very low venous structure and you're turning it into an artery, putting it across their heart and making it an artery. That would be a lot of oxidative stress. We know that within a couple of weeks, that venous structure will get a little bit of thickening, about 50% thickening of the lining of that new product, that new structure, because of the oxidative stress. And we accept that, and therefore we have them on statins and aspirin and other products to try to keep that vein as stable as possible. Well, when they took a human vein and they bathed it in Protandim and they exposed it to that oxidative stress, turning it into an artery, there was zero thickening of the lining of the structure. So there was no intimal thickness. That's huge. That's a peer review, and that is huge. There are other peer reviews, and the most recent peer review just came out, and I have not reviewed it thoroughly, but it's going to be about coronary artery disease and the oxidative stress to that coronary artery disease. Patients on Protandim, there's a decrease in the damage to the lining of the coronary arteries. So that's going to come out as well. More and more is going to come out. There's going to be other studies coming out through the next several months to year on Protandim. So it's a fascinating, amazing product. And you can send people to peer-reviewed studies. So you don't have to tell them yourselves. You don't have to be the teller of all this important information. You can actually send them to pubmed.gov. You know, the pharmaceutical companies are not stupid. They are aware of this. This is a very big breakthrough, a NRF2 activator. One of the pharmaceutical companies, Abbott, is putting billions of dollars into a product called bardoxolone methyl. Bardoxolone methyl is in studies now in Jacksonville. It will be the first synthetic NRF2 activator on the market. There'll be another one. Biogen has one that they're working on as well. Bardoxolone methyl will go after diabetics with kidney disease. Both diseases that I see in my clinic, and I get reports from patients and friends that they see improvement in kidney disease and diabetes, just as I did with my husband's labs. So bardoxolone methyl will be an FDA synthetic drug. It will not be available to anybody except for if you are a diabetic with kidney disease. We have Protandim. We have the first NRF2 activator. It is all natural. It is available to we the people. We the people actually own it. You do not need a doctor prescription to get it. It is $40 plus shipping, so you know bardoxolone methyl is not going to be that. So I got to tell you, it's big, and it is happening. I get excited about it. I try to tell people this is an amazing product, and it's also an amazing company, amazing publicly traded company, upstanding executives. I have nothing but praise when I go to the meetings and the conferences. So I can't say enough about it. I can't say enough about the science, but I do think it's real important. NRF2 activator, not an antioxidant, but it makes your own DNA, make your God-given antioxidants at the tune of eradicating 1 million free radicals per second. So we have a way to combat that free radical damage and decrease our oxidative stress. So I will turn it over to Shirley. She'll talk to you about the business, but I just want to say that this is big, and it's happening, and it's exciting.